Right, here's another person who's making a video about how to do the rear brake pipelines for a Land Rover L322. This is the 2009 upgrade model, so 2010, 11, 12. It's, I guess, doable, but not easy. Right, what I've done so far is I have disconnected all the lines. I'm not going to show you how to disconnect bolts or how to undo bolts. I'm sure you could figure that out, and if you don't, well, don't start on the job. Right, the crossover pipeline goes via impossible way from the left hand side of the truck to the right hand side. It then comes round and goes underneath all this part of the world. There you are. They're all, I've loosened everything up. Oh, get it in focus. And actually color coded them so I know what's where. There's 3 lines. One of them is a soft plasticky one. Not quite sure what that is. These little clips here, they hold the brake lines together. They're absolute swines to undo. Easy to get together, but in order to undo them you need to bend open the outside bit, which you can't do one-handed, and then flicks open. I'm sure there's someone online who can show you how to do it one-handed. I can't. Right, so that's part one of the problem. Then there are some more bits at the front, because all I'm doing is the back to front bit. And these lines that go to the ABS and the front lines that go also to the ABS are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no corrosion at all. Right, the plan is to extract first the left hand pipe, get it out through towards the back. The right hand pipe I'm going to cut somewhere near the fuel tank here, somewhere in this part of the world, I think, because I'm not quite sure how the heck you're supposed to get it out. I guess the only way to do it is to undo the suspension mounting and the this bit of suspension as well, but it'll be quite entertaining. That's absolutely true. So, right, everything is loose. I'm just going to have to work out how the heck to extract all these pipes, because even if you look at this left hand one, that just goes forward around the tower, around the subframe mounting, and that's fine. The other one, if you don't cut it, as I said, you need to undo those two at the bottom and hope for the best. Oh yeah, another thing, these factory flexible brake lines have little serrations on them. They slot into this bit here. So there's no point putting a spanner on that apart from holding it when you loosen up the far side with the brake hose spanner. This is the type I use. They work. These are 11mm. This thing is about 15. Yes, they are quite entertaining. This is the clip that holds the hoses together at the top here. In my case, it was quite badly seized up. Don't know how the hell that happens because it's plastic, but here we go. It's an M6, oh, it's a 6mm Allen key. So that'll get that loose. There's another one in the middle under the truck. I decided to do it slightly differently to what a lot of people do. I decided to remove the heat shield that in between the exhaust and the car. So it's like so. Reason being, these two bolts that hold the protection for the fuel tank, I would have to halfway destroy the heat shield in order to get to them. People seem to be able to do it. I thought I was doing too much damage, so I thought no. So what I've done is I've taken the 4 bolts of the exhaust. There's 2 at the back here, one on the other side, and then there's 2 in the middle, and just with the jack just lowered the thing down and got the heat shield out that way. Seemed to work all right. One of the front bolts on the left hand side of the car is very difficult to get to. Maybe I should have dropped the other heat shield as well at the front. That I have bent back, but I don't like doing that, but I did anyway. This is the left hand side brake pipe. It stretches off into the distance in space-time, but the reason I'm renewing it is it's a bit difficult to see without some extra light. That is getting quite badly, quite corroded. Most of it is fine, absolutely beautiful. And then here is another bit that's on the way out. The right hand side actually blew to pieces. It dropped all the hydraulic fluid through it. So anyway, so that's one off. Let's see what we can make out of this. Here are the pipe fittings I want to use. The wonderful world of standardization has struck again, of course. Nothing on this planet is standardized. My absolute pet hate. This is the end that goes in the front wheel bay, in the front wheel arch. That's a slightly different size fitting to the ones at the back. Don't know why. Probably a good idea at the time. Same pipe diameter, just different external fitting. Also, this fitting here has a flat edge, as has the 4.75mm one. You can see here it's got a flat edge and it fits in there. These new fittings, however, have a slight concave on the inside, which then brings you to 3/16, which has, as you can see, a slight concave when you make the fitting there. So that will be a better fit for these 2 fittings, which go onto the back of the truck and on the joiner by the fuel tank. Well, the wonderful world of standardization is struck already. That didn't take 3 minutes. Well, there goes. Right, this is the original fitting. As you can see, it's on the pipe here. As the keen observer will also notice, it is much shorter by, well, about 4mm, something like that. This wee spring goes over this and holds itself tight against the new brake fitting. If one uses the new brake pipe fitting, it all flops about, so nothing is fixed, it all starts to rattle and something will break, no doubt. So, only option is to reuse the old fitting, whereas the brand new beautiful fitting is just slightly different from the old one. I do hate this non-standardizing, but I must have mentioned that before. Anyway, right, so after a very brief moment, we'll try it again. See what can go wrong this time. Right, that's one brake line sorted. I zipped it to the old one, trying to follow all the bends. Left about, what is it, half an inch sticking out on either side, just in case I screw up the flaring, which is most likely. Because I have to reuse the old fittings, I have to put on a 4.75 din on there, because that's the shape of the old fittings. So, right, see what we can make of this. Next stage is the flexible. That goes from the caliper on that side to the new brake line. You can see it's got these plastic clips on it that hold the thing tight on the truck. In order to get them off, you have to press them inwards. Now, if they're on the fat part of the rubber hose, you really struggle to do that. So the best thing to do is to wriggle them about, slide them off, do it on the thin bit, get a little screwdriver involved, and just carefully push it down with the screwdriver, and you can open it up. Just something I've found. There'll be more things that I've come across. This is where the flexible hose connects to. So that goes there. There is a hollow bolt with a washer there, and there is still a washer stuck in there. You can just about make it out on the camera. It doesn't need to come out. Well, you could leave it there, I guess, if you feel like it, but chance of it leaking are a lot higher than putting a new one in. It's a bit of a fiddle with a very small screwdriver to lever it out. The right hand side brake line. Cut it into two pieces because I have no idea how the heck people get it out. I straightened up the bit from the left hand side and basically pulled it out via the right hand side. I've seen people do it from the left hand side. Well, I have no idea how you'd even begin to do it. No, can't be done. Well, can be done evidently, but not by me. There you go, my temper isn't good enough for that. Anyway, there is the brake line in two bits. It's going to get that joiner in between, for which I need a different block to create the flare. Yes, so we'll see how we get on. Right, brake pipes created. This is the joiner. That's the connecting bit to the joiner. Marked in with that piece of tape where the bend is going to have to be around the chassis, but it's far easier to get it through whilst it's straight, so I'll do that when it's on the car. Maybe a good decision, maybe a bad decision, don't know yet, we'll find out. And I don't know why I spent so much time straightening the blighter out, because it just bends under its own weight. Anyway, and there's the other end. I've taped up all the open bits apart from the joiner, which I haven't tightened up yet, purely to stop any mud and detritus getting into it. So rather than having to clean out the pipes, I've blown them through now. So yes, we shall see how it all works again. The crossover pipe. Right, somehow it needs to go through that. I tied a piece of white string on it, which I can just about follow, so I know where it went. I've put the joiner there where the yellow tape is. Should just be able to get some spanners onto that to tighten that. I'll show you from the other side what the story is. Either I start from this side, from the right hand side, and I have a perfectly good straight piece of wire, or I start from the other side and I have to try and wriggle all those bendy bits, of which there are plenty, through this little knot here, where a piece of string disappears over the handbrake, actuate the job. I think I'll try the straight bit if you don't mind. I'm sure it can be done with all the wiggly bits, because it needs to go to here. This is where the flexi pipe goes, so it needs to come round here. It doesn't go round the suspensions, but it needs to stay on the inside of that. Well, that took about 5 seconds to push that pipe through. I think a lot quicker than trying to wriggle it around the other way. All I need to do is make a bit of a bend here where the piece of blue tape is, connect it up to the yellow pipe, which is still not connected at the front, so I got some flexibility there. Have a fight with some spanners to tighten everything up, which is going to be entertaining, but it's always going to be, unless you put the joiner much further back here. But then you have the problem that you get a heck of a long length of copper pipe to fight, or what's cunifer pipe to fight with, because again, to get it behind this mounting for the subframe is, yeah, this will be the easiest place. It's right where those yellow thingies are, but I haven't done that. We'll see how we get on. These are the mid mounting points for the exhaust system. They go up there. Once you, oh, there. They go up there once you jack the exhaust up. That one is easily accessible. This one, much less so. It's all in, oh crumbs. It's all in that hole here. So I cut part of this heat shield away, which on reflection is not the cleverest thing to do. It's only a few bolts really. There's 2 bolts up top here, and there's a few more down the front, and then you can just get the heat shield out of the way rather than half destroying it. Anyway, lesson learned. Don't be too hasty with the set of cutters. I'm trying to get this fuel tank guard back in again, but it keeps fouling on the lower strut of the suspension. So I just cut the PC out. We'll see how we get on now. Well, that's all the brake lines back in position. Doesn't look too bad. I'm sure somebody could do it better, but they weren't here. So yeah, quite pleased with that. Now it's a matter of getting all the shields and stuff back on again, lift the exhaust, clean the wheels, put the wheels on, and then see what we are. I did bleed the brakes. I did the brake bleeding procedure. Well, first of all I bled them with a pressure bleeder, just the normal old-fashioned way, and then I did it with the ID tool. Seems to have a good pedal, doesn't leak anywhere. Result. Right, the brakes are all done. Truck is back on the road, bled and all the rest of it. Brakes working fine, hopefully won't explode again. These are all the tools I used to do the whole job. You could do it with fewer, but I got them, so I might as well use them. Anyway, so it's just a bunch of small sockets, 8, 10, 11s, and 13 and 15 sockets. Same here, 10, 13, 15, 17. Same, funnily enough, here. Again, don't know why I've got so many of those sockets. And then here we've got some spanners as well. 11, 15, 17, and a couple of the brake hose spanners. They're very useful. The hammer, only used twice. just to knock a socket onto a bit of a rusty bolt. Worked well. I try and use the hex bolts if I can, if they're rusty, because the double hex ones, these, they just have a tendency of destroying the head a bit more. Anyway, so torch essential, hammer gun quite nice, not essential, but does speed things up no end. And there's the two dies I used to make the brake lines. The bottom one, the 3/16, as you can see, has a slightly different shape. I needed that for this connector. The other one, the flat one, 475 DIN. Yeah, that's the one with the original Land Rovers. Yep, job's not too difficult, just fiddly and a nuisance. Hopefully not have to do it again.